Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
And I'm really, really sad that I brought other girls my age and even younger into a world that...
When Ghislaine Maxwell, the one-time madam of billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, was last year convicted of sex crimes against underage girls, her victims hoped a jail cell would silence her. Turns out they were wrong. As well as appealing her 20-year sentence, Maxwell has now begun a concerted campaign.
And this is why this stuff has to be passed line by line by line. It is riven with clues about the Epstein case.
She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have a bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating.
Imagine spending years creating the perfect royal look, pretty, fancy, perfect, only for one woman wearing jail clothes to ruin it with one sentence. I've seen her before she was Meghan. Not on Suits, not in Hollywood, somewhere much darker. And that woman isn't a gossip blogger. It isn't a random YouTuber. It's Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, the same Ghislaine at the middle of the Jeffrey Epstein case. The woman who knew princes, presidents, and powerful insiders. And now she's suddenly talking about Meghan Markle. Why now? What did she see? And why is Meghan, the queen of carefully made statements, quiet? Because whatever's in that mysterious resume Maxwell talked about, it is either a bold lie or a time bomb. So, here's the real question. What if Meghan didn't just marry into royal secrets? She brought her own.
Deeply frustrating to sit there and sort of see names of famous, wealthy people. Yes, they were on planes, they knew Jeffrey Epstein, but you kept wondering, well, what else did they know?
Multimillionaire, hedge fund manager, businessman with famous, powerful friends, and also convicted sex offender. Just weeks ago, court documents pertaining to a sex trafficking case were unsealed by a New York court.
Meghan shows herself as the perfect mix of Hollywood beauty and royal grace. Charity talks, children's hospitals, inspiring quotes printed on teacups. A brand so shiny it practically sparkles. But behind that perfect image, there are missing years, confusing timelines, and now stories of connections that don't quite fit the fairy tale. Ghislaine Maxwell says she knew Meghan from a certain social circle, one that had nothing to do with film studios or royal palaces. And here's the part that made eyebrows raise. Meghan, who fights back at bloggers and tabloids, has said absolutely nothing. No denial, no legal statement, not one carefully written podcast speech. Silence. And in royal and Hollywood language, silence isn't weakness, it's strategy.
I see in you the present and the future. And I reiterate that point because oftentimes we speak to young adults about the years ahead, about what you'll do, what you'll have to adopt to fix from previous generations.
Here's where it gets weird. Ghislaine Maxwell mentions Meghan in prison interviews, casually, comfortably, like someone she had known long before Netflix deals and royal titles. Not as Duchess Meghan, not as Hollywood Meghan, just Meghan. Then came the paper. Not a casting resume, not a modeling portfolio. Something called a personal network placement record. That's not entertainment. That's planning. And then a connection no one expected. Sources say Meghan may have crossed paths with circles linked to Prince Andrew's world years before Harry. Not romantically, not politically, but socially. And who connected that world? Ghislaine Maxwell. But wait, it gets even more uncomfortable. A photo was mentioned. Never published, not confirmed but whispered about. Meghan wasn't smiling in the celebrity corner. She was in the other corner. The quiet, powerful, the kind of people nobody ever Googles. And finally, the loudest silence of all. Meghan Markle answers to everything. Podcasts, documentaries, lawsuits, but this time nothing. And in her world, silence isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. But that wasn't the strangest part.
Andrew hosted the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein as well as Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein.
Her attorneys have just sent a letter to the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, saying initially they were just going to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights, but they say now that they are willing to cooperate if, and this is a huge if, some big demands are met.
TikTok detectives have already set up the case files. One viral meme, split screen. Meghan on one side, Ghislaine on the other. Caption: When your LinkedIn asks for recommendations. Twitter went crazy. Why does her past look like it's under royal protection? Not saying she's guilty, but the silence is loud. She released 6 episodes for Spotify drama, but can't talk about this. YouTube gossip channels, they're calling it the Maxwell Markle mystery. Netflix hasn't made a documentary, but Twitter has. Would you believe her if that photo ever came out? Comment below.
As I was building this, I'd always loved the podcast, how I built this. And I thought, could we do something that feels a little bit like the tenor of how I'm building this?
The palace totally silent. Hollywood moving carefully. PR teams are handling 3 nightmares. Meghan's brand. Ghislaine's claims. The shadow of Prince Andrew's scandal still cooking. One agency reportedly called it a reputation Jenga tower. Pull one wrong piece, everything falls. Because Meghan didn't just marry a prince. She married into an organization built on secrecy. But here's the twist. This time, the danger might not be the palace. It might be her past. Was Meghan just caught in a rumor? Or is there something she can't deny without confessing?
Blame game, much of it directed at Meghan, is fierce. It hasn't yet progressed to off with her head, but it's still a major headache.
Zoom out. This isn't a story about one duchess. It's about how reputations are made. Jeffrey Epstein reinvented himself. Prince Andrew tried to. Ghislaine Maxwell faked hers. Now Meghan Markle, Hollywood's most polished brand, may be facing her own rebuilding. Because if she could rewrite this much of her history, what else was changed? Dates, friendships, connections. If they can hide this, what else did they rewrite?
Meghan, look at the expression on her face. She seems kind of pleased, really, as if maybe she's got what she wanted.
Satisfy Epstein's insatiable appetite. And Kate testified that she never recruited any other girls for Maxwell and Epstein.
Maybe Meghan tells her side someday. Maybe Ghislaine drops more names. Or maybe the real proof is still in someone safe. But until then, was this just a prison trick? Or did Meghan Markle's past just knock on her palace door? If you love your scandals served cold, subscribe because this story has just opened first file.